Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, where we bring you a weekly dose of powerlifting news, tips, and training advice with a touch of 80s rock ballads. This podcast is presented by Team Rohr Powerlifting, your source of the most comprehensive coaching and meet day preparation. Here are your hosts, Josh Rohr and Lara Sturm.
Welcome to episode 195. How are you, Josh Rohr?
I'm good. We're closing in on 200. Pretty crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Don't know what we're going to do.
Freak out. Maybe we'll retire.
Should, probably. Yeah.
Anyway, we have a lot of stuff to kind of go over today. So we'll start with our Team Rohr Training App. We've talked about it here and there, but I figured, you know what? We're going to start using this podcast for good versus evil, right? Starting today, you can get 25% off of your first month if you use discount code PL Ballads Podcast in all capitals.
Of course, all capitals.
And you can find a link to it in the bio of our Instagram at PL Ballads Podcast or in the Team Rohr Instagram. Both.
What makes this training app so awesome?
Well, the programs on there one of them was yours, but we used programs that were custom programs for different individuals when we did custom programming for them. And if they worked really well, we put them on the training app so people can follow them and do basically exactly what our athletes did. So for example, your program that you won Best Lifter at Worlds is on there. So people can follow that if they're an equipped lifter and do exactly what you did back in the day. And then the app itself has like all kinds of metrics and video demonstrations and like all the metrics to track and measure all your progress and cool little graphs. Everybody loves graphs, right?
Who doesn't? Yeah. I mean, see progress in a graph.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
And it has like a nutrition, like, so, I mean, we don't do nutrition. There's no nutrition work in there, but like you can use the app to track your nutrition. Photos, like if you want to take body measurements and photos, you can track those in the app too, and do side by side comparisons and stuff, which, you know, we don't use that a whole lot, but I mean, if people are interested in that as a benefit of it, that's there as an option. So that's it in a nutshell.
That's cool. Get
25% off using the podcast discount code.
Love it. All right.
Love it. Cool.
What else has happened?
So the Arnold happened this weekend. This is the first Arnold I didn't attend I didn't attend in 2021 either, like, because that was right after COVID happened and they had it still, but it was with no spectators. So it was basically like an empty Arnold. I didn't go to that year, and then I didn't go this year. So I've missed two in like the last, I don't know, 20 years or something.
Wow. That's so sad.
I know. But we had two lifters compete. Elaine Ostrander, she competed in the Masters Bench Bash. She went 2 for 3. She missed her third attempt, which would have been a 2.5 kilo PR. And then Molly Walker did the Bench Bash, which is the open meet. She went 2 for 3. She tied her PR on her second and missed a 2.5 kilo PR on her third. But I'm super happy with how that went for them. You know, being on the big stage for the first time like that, it's definitely intimidating. And for them to, you know, be right at the best they've ever done on the big stage is pretty impressive. So pretty happy for them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there was some amazing lifting that I saw online. There was what was it? Can't remember her name. 65 kilo lifter that did a raw squat of what was it, 431 or something like that?
Yeah. Christiane Hazard. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
And she's from Ohio State, so you got to be a fan of her.
Ah, okay. Just because of the Ohio State.
Right. I appreciate you putting the in there. The Ohio State.
You're welcome.
Well done.
Okay.
Well done.
Yeah, the Arnold's it's a spectacle.
It is.
Yeah. Sorry you missed it. Sorry, I missed it too, but you know.
So I figure we'll move into the new lifter tip. We'll kind of go out of order here. The reason we're going to do this tip now is because we are going to talk about some of the botched attempt selections and botched attempt changes that I saw, and maybe people just didn't know.
So the attempts you can change. These are the only attempt changes you can make after they're turned in. So the first one being the opening attempt. you can make one change up to 3 minutes before your flight starts. So I know some people don't know that, but that's definitely something that, you put in a change. It's either to, you're not feeling great in warm-ups. You're like, I think I need to go down, or you are trying to psych out your competition by putting in a higher attempt than you actually plan to do. That's another thing. But 3 minutes before your flight starts. So bench only, if you're in a bench only meet, your third attempt bench, you can do 2 changes. So kind of like deadlift in a full power meet. So you can go up or down from the initial third attempt, and you can change up until the bar is called loaded for you. I just said it like a true Bostonian, bar.
The bar.
So you can change until they say bar is loaded. If they say bar is loaded, you're done. You got to go. And then the third one is, like I just kind of referenced, is a third attempt deadlift. You get 2 changes. So same thing, you can go up or down from the initial third attempt, and you can change up until the bar is called loaded for you. And also the weight on the bar can't go down. So if you already have, if 100 kilos is already loaded on the bar, and you're like, oh, I really want to change it to 95. No, you can't. So
correct.
That's the other part.
Yeah. So I saw a lot of people that were like after the people that placed ahead of them in the flight on third attempts, and they did more than they needed to and missed. So we'll get into that a little bit. I'm not going to go through and bash every single one because I don't have time to do all the math and look at all that, but there's a couple that were really obvious to me that I'll mention. So we'll go kind of through the Arnold results. I'm just going to mention everybody's name real fast because I don't want to spend a whole lot on here. They all deserve really their own episode, but we don't have time for that on our show. and we're not that thorough. Let's just be honest. But how the Arnold worked this year is if you placed top 3 by dots in each of the events, you earned your pro card if you hit the minimum dots. So we're just going to kind of go through and list everybody's names that earned their pro card at the meet this year. So in the Masters Bench Bash, in the female Raw, Jennifer Wilcox was first, Brianna Boardman was second, Maria Guzman was third. In the male Raw, Callistus Schissel was first, David Sneen second, Howard Aaron third. And what's crazy about this, the male Raw Bench Bash, Jorge Castaneda was fourth, and he's actually the reigning Pro Series champion. So the reigning champion got fourth at the Arnold this year, which is nuts. Kind of shows how deep the talent pool is there. All right, in the female equipped, Elizabeth Richardson was first, Joy Black was second, Susan Paxson was third. In the male equipped, first place was Carlo Melendez. He's the only one that either hit the minimum dots or there was only one person. I'm not sure. I believe there was a bunch of other lifters that did not hit the minimum dots. So he's the only one that earned a pro card in the male equipped. In the open bench bash, in the female Raw, Natalie Richardson was first. Erin Hagen was second. Rachel Hanan was third. The male Raw, Todd Talford was first. Daryl Funk was second. Third was Andrew Ernst. And the female equipped was Natalie Richardson again. Rachel Hanan second. Elizabeth Richardson was third. And Natalie Richardson, she's the reigning Pro Series champion in both Raw and equipped in the open division. So no surprise that she won the Raw and equipped at the Arnold this year. But this is our first example of poor attempt selection, in my opinion. So Elizabeth Richardson, we said, was third. She had a 103.262 dots. In fourth was Yesenia Martinez with a 102.958 dots. Now, the reason this is poor attempt selection, it seems like, well, it was just a close battle. Well, yeah, it was. But when you actually look at what happened, Yesenia was lifting after Elizabeth, and her attempts went as follows. She missed 115 on her opener. She got 115 on her second, and then she missed 122.5 on her third. So her second attempt is what gave her the 102.958 dots. When we did the math, she could have gone from 115 to 117.5, a 2.5 kilo jump, and that would have given her a 105.2 dots, which would have moved her ahead of Elizabeth Richardson, which would have also earned her pro card. So by picking the attempts she did and missing, she missed out on a pro card at the Arnold.
Mm.
To me, this is attempt selection 101. But again, if you don't have somebody there watching the numbers and doing the math for you, or not knowing that you're allowed to change your third attempt bench when you're in a bench only division, could have contributed to this unfortunate situation, I guess. So this is not to take away from Elizabeth Richardson. Like she put up a good meet and won, but just looking at everything, like Yasina definitely did not make the best attempt selections here.
So she missed her first, got her second, and got her third. No, didn't get her third.
Missed her third. Yeah, she went from 115. She got 115 on her second and then missed 122.5 on her third. So 7.5 kilo jump and missed it. When she could have done a 2.5 kilo jump if she would have made it, that would have moved her into third and a pro card. And she lifted after Elizabeth. So
so
she knew for a fact that would have been enough. So these are just like, as a coach, I'm just like not cringing, but just like beating my head against the wall. Like why did we do this? But anyway. All right. In the men's equipped, first place was Nick Benarakis. Second was Lucas Pribble. And third was Carlo Melendez. And I'll just say this real quick. I don't know. I'm going to do a plug here, I guess. I don't know Nick very well, but he's the owner of Big Benches. I don't know if you've ever seen any of their videos online. They're on Instagram as Big Benches, Benchas, Benches. But he does a lot of really good content, especially for equip lifters. And, he does a really good job, like breaking down some technique things. And he's a coach that I think is underrated. And, he's obviously lifting at the highest level as well himself. So I don't know, just somebody I don't really know, but somebody I kind of watch from afar that I think does a really good job. So little plug there. Game recognizes game.
Nice. Exactly.
All right, where are we at? The equipped Grand Prix. So the female masters equipped, first place was Kealani Richardson, and she had a hell of a day. She had a 531 age adjusted dots. Second was Nandi Zai. Third was Vanina Brown. The male masters equipped was David Villafranca was first. Alan Crockover was second. And then the female open, first was Kealani Richardson again. So she had the double win. And second was McKenna Henderson. And Kealani had to pull a world record third attempt deadlift to edge out McKenna Henderson. So the dots were 523.997 to 522.841. So Kealani had like the meter for life and looked super strong. So she's definitely going to be a force to contend with going forward.
I love when masters lifters beat. I hate to say
win the open. Yeah.
Yeah. I just got excited and couldn't speak.
I know. I love it too.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. And that 523 dots is huge. Like that's big.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I should have done the research. I'm not sure what her best ever dots was, but it was not that. I will say that. So she put together a heck of a training cycle apparently and really maximized it on meet day. So in the male open, Cordarius Harris was first, Jose Leon was second, and Andy Bowie was third. And then the female Raw Challenge, first place was your girl Christiane Hazard, second was Kate Cohen, third was Kiera Thompson. And then the male Raw Challenge, first was Jason Moss, second was Mark Frizzell, third was Quentin White, Georgia guy. So congrats to Quentin there for getting his pro card on the big stage at the Arnold.
Representing Georgia.
Representing Georgia. And then the Masters Raw Challenge, first place was Helen White. Second place was Lisa Benavides. And third place was Adrienne Lockhart. And Adrienne pulled her third attempt was 186 on her deadlift. So I'm not sure if that was an American record or world record, but she edged out fourth place by less than 1 dots point, which this is another scenario where Allison Sneed pulled 202.5 on her third. So she obviously was after Adrienne and made it. And she only needed 2.5 kilos more to move into third. So kind of a missed opportunity there and poor attempt selection. But again, I'm not criticizing people. I'm just pointing out like, okay, I'm criticizing.
You're
We'll just call it
criticizing
what.
their attempt.
Yes, we'll call it what it is. All right, and then the men's Raw Masters, first place was David Brown, second place was Dwayne Maderi, and then third was Matt Mukigrasso. Yeah, pretty solid, pretty solid lifting at the Arnold. Like, and the crazy part was, so like a lot of lifters that were in the Pro Series finals did not compete at the Arnold because the finals were in December. Last year the finals were at the Arnold. This year they were not. So, the fact that the dot scores and the level of competition was as deep as it is, with some of those pro finalists not even competing, is kind of crazy. Like, some of those pro finalists would have not even placed. So it's crazy. It's crazy at the talent like coming through right now. It's pretty exciting.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So that was a lot so far. Upcoming meets, Georgia. Next weekend is Military Police and Firefighter Nationals in Noonan, Georgia. Dave Goodwin's running that. Then I don't know which of these we've announced already, so I'm just going to kind of go through them if anybody's looking for meets in Georgia. So April 26th is the Savannah Spring Classic. That's down in Savannah, Georgia. May 23rd, 24th, and 25th is the Tournament of Power at Momocon, which is anime. So like last year there was an anime open. It was just held at Trueborn Strong, but this year there's actually a Momocon convention at the Georgia World Congress Center, which is in downtown Atlanta, like literally right next to the College Football Hall of Fame and like next to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, like downtown Atlanta. So this is going to be huge. It's a 3 day. I think Momocon's actually 4 days, but the powerlifting meet, they're going to run it alongside of it inside of the convention is 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that's May 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
That's, I
You
don't know,
have
it feels so
questions?
odd. I'm like, you're having a powerlifting meet within Momocon, so I guess that assumes that if you're going to do that meet, you're a fan of anime,
Potentially. So
or
it was crazy because last year at the Anime Open, I did not go. I just saw the post on social media. Is like they had a costume contest. Like there was all kinds of people dressed in anime, like at the meet. So here's the thing. We're old as shit, you and I. And apparently there's a big anime thing with like the younger generation, like the
yeah,
the college age kids. Man, I sound
those
super
kids
old.
today, you're crazy.
Yeah, so
Oh.
basically I think it's like a natural fit for that age group. They're
So
they're
if
into
you're
that thing.
awkward and goofy, there's this like intersection between powerlifting and anime.
Well, that's used very loosely because we're pretty awkward and what did you say?
Exactly.
Awkward and
Goofy,
what? Goofy.
goofy,
Yeah.
but I guess goofy is not even in the right. Geeky,
Yeah.
maybe geeky.
Maybe
Awkward and
geeky.
geeky. Yeah,
Awkward and geeky. Yeah.
yeah. So that place where those two circles like overlap is this meet.
I guess so. And it's like so it's three separate sanctions. They have like a separate, it's basically just like Momocon day 1, day 2, and day 3. So I think each day is a separate meet. So you can basically just pick which day you want to compete, which is kind of cool because normally they assign it like lightweights are going to be on Friday. So like you just sign up for the day you want to compete. It's like literally three separate meets.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, anything that
All
works, that's fun, cool.
right. Laura's internal thoughts. That sounds stupid.
No, it sounds weird. I would love to have like a live band play at a powerlifting meet, you know,
Like do it at yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
like a
So
something heavy, like
yeah.
brr.
What I've always wanted to do is have a meet like, how they have, well, even like we talked about last time that like when the Duluth Fall Festival, they had like the big outside,
Mm.
vendors everywhere. Like just having a meet right in the middle there. Like we were doing exhibition lists, but what if we had like an actual meet like up on the stage during all of that? Because they had live music playing there too. Yeah, I just think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of kind of different concepts for meets that could be explored. But hey, props if it works and
You're so
gets people
disturbed
out.
right now. The look on your face is
I'm
not.
just like, it's just so why? But I'm ancient, right? So I don't
Yeah, I
understand anime
mean,
and
same. Like we
the
just don't
attractions.
understand it. I don't understand it either, but apparently it's a big deal. So the fact that they're in there, like in that convention, like that's awesome. Like I
Yeah.
mean, it's super great exposure, and maybe people will find powerlifting through anime.
Right?
I
Could
don't
be.
know.
I mean, if you're awkward and geeky, that's where you're going to be. I mean, maybe we can call out the meet director of at the Momocon and say, "Hey, come on the podcast and tell us what this is about, so I can like not have this look on my face anymore."
So we probably should do that. Yeah, Lydia and Megan, open invitation to be on the podcast and explain anime. What is the craze with this thing?
Yes. And why do a powerlifting meet with it?
And why don't old people like us get it? All right, moving on.
Okay.
Other meets in Georgia, June 25th. Well, it's not a meet, but we're hosting the Senior National Coaching Certification course. So if you don't understand how to do a temp selection, take the club level course, and then you can eventually take this and we get into some advanced stuff. But basically, this is going to be Wednesday prior to Raw Nationals in Atlanta. A lot of our senior instructors are going to be teaching it, so it's going to be kind of a roundtable type thing. So you have multiple instructors kind of going over different things. But part of it, part of the course, it's a 2 day thing. You have to, do the lecture / practical classroom type setting, and then you also have to shadow a senior instructor at Raw Nationals coaching actual lifters. So it's very good hands-on experience. We do touch on a lot of higher level concepts in both in programming and attempt selection and just overall methodologies. So it's definitely worth taking. You do have to be a club level coach for at least a year to take it, but we do hopefully prevent some of these mistakes that we saw at the Arnold in coaching. But anyway, also, so then June 26th through 29th is Raw Nationals, and then July 13th is the Georgia High School State Championship in Lawrenceville. So that's the only meets on the calendar so far. I anticipate there will be more listed later on for the second half of the year, but those are what's on the calendar as of right now.
And the Raw Nationals, where is that going to be at?
It's at the Georgia International Convention Center down by the airport.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the same place that Collegiate Nationals was last year. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it should be big.
Yeah, for sure.
So executive committee updates. I think the last time we talked, Kathy Maley stepped down as the secretary, and it was announced, a week or two ago, but we haven't done an episode. But Cameron Barlow was elected as secretary to replace Kathy, and he is a loyal listener of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast. He participated in multiple of the tournaments with music or whatever, but he actually also submitted a question recently. So he asked, has a date been selected for the old and washed up invitational yet? What is the capacity of the meet, and will the dots multiplier be determined by years or decades? All great questions, and I think so. The original concept of this, it actually in 2015, Trey Cunningham and I were driving up to Pennsylvania for Raw Nationals, and we were getting kind of delirious. It was a pretty long drive, and we started coming up with these ideas. And one of them was to have a meet where you basically like throw back to like early 2000s, and basically we were talking about collegiate nationals, like the lifters from the early 2000s. So, myself, Jeremy Hartman, Mike Haffenbrack, who's actually still lifting at a high level, even some of those lifters, Cameron was part of that. And basically just have call it like the washed up invitational, people that were, high level lifters in college back in those years, and see where they're at now. I feel like the liability insurance for that event would have to be super high. Like the number of pulled hamstrings and,
yeah. I think the dots multiplier should be determined based on the number of surgeries you've had, how long you have gone without lifting more than your body weight,
right. Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. And then we'd also have to figure out, is it going to be raw or equipped? Because like when we were all competing, there was no raw. So, I don't know. We'd have to figure that out. But
I don't think it's a good idea for the old and washed up to do raw. That just sounds like a good way to get your intestines blown out.
Okay.
Or, severing kneecaps from patella tendons, and like maybe no.
Well,
So
we're really making this sound like a must-watch event right now.
I mean, kind of like Jackass type of must-watch
Yeah, pretty
event.
much.
But I think we should schedule this meet.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like there's got we just haven't figured out the parameters of it. Like
Mm.
it's got to be like I don't know, maybe it's like your dots. Oh, here's what we could do. It could be like whatever your dots was back then, it's whoever gets the closest percentage to their dots is the winner back
Back
then.
then.
Yeah.
Could people just do like their best lift and call it done? Because I mean, it's just like be like, well, I really favorite the squat. Let me just squat and then like forget about bench and deadlift.
I mean, you can, but that's called a bomb out,
Ah, yeah, but that's just a lot to train for.
which I anticipate a high level. This might set a record for
Almost.
like most bomb outs in a meet. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's just I think we should set it for let's see, it's 2025 now. I think if you start training now, Josh, you could overcome your injuries and be ready for, like 2030,
Something like that. But here's the thing.
maybe.
So the original idea was I was going to run this thing and
Oh.
lift, but the reality is I'm not going to run it. Obviously, we've been talking about this since 2015. It's 2025. 10 years later, we still haven't done it.
Mm.
So, open invitation. If anybody wants to run this event and make it actually happen, you're welcome to. I can help you with the list of invitations who to invite, but I'm
Not
definitely not going to
not
run it.
Mike,
But I would love for this to happen. I
because
think it would be great.
Mike doesn't qualify because he's not
And
washed
here's
up.
the thing. Here's the other thing. That's true. He's not. So yeah,
No.
yeah. We should just like you're ineligible. It's basically like the equivalent of like being suspended. Like it's not a failed drug test. It's just like you failed to meet the criteria because you're not a has-been at this point. You're
Right.
still
If you've
relevant.
lifted in
So
the last 5 years,
yeah,
you're not old and washed up.
if you lifted in the fast, if you've lifted in the last 5 years, you are irrelevant to the washed up crowd.
Yes. Yeah,
Anyways,
exactly.
yeah, we
Great
should
question, Cameron.
yeah, and whoever runs it should also like use the same technology that we had back then. So
Oh yeah, the
basically
light
like
bulbs.
yeah, the light bulbs for the lights, like that was top notch back then. Next Lifter was, just becoming a thing. That was this Excel
Oh,
spreadsheet scoring program that Joe Marksteiner made. But a lot of the local meets were literally using like an overhead projector and just running
yeah,
off a
right.
card. So like they would just like on that, the little Sharpie or not Sharpie, but like dry erase marker overhead projector, they would just write the weight and it would pop up like what's being lifted. Yeah, it's pretty old school.
Wow.
This even predates you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember that. I mean, we
Yeah.
can go back to like the thumbs up, thumbs down thing.
Yeah. There was a lot of that too. Anyway,
Yeah, old technology.
so congratulations, Cam, on being elected to the executive committee as the secretary. That was where we were going with that and kind of got derailed by his question. Um, Here's something we're going to do. As you may or may not know, executive committee elections, they happen every year at the NGB, but president is one of the positions up for election this year. And the rumor is that multiple people are running. And traditionally, there hasn't really been that many people run against Larry. I mean, I think there was one person that I can remember running against Larry at one of the elections. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to make this an open invitation. Anybody that's officially running for president, we're going to invite you on the podcast and we're going to create a series of questions. So everybody's going to get the same questions. But yeah, basically, if you want to be on, we invite you to make your case and we're going to ask some hard questions about why you are the best fit for USA Powerlifting President because this is important to me. I think having the right person as president matters. And
Have the candidates submitted their names yet? Or are we
no,
waiting for that?
no. So it's all rumor mill right now that people are
Uh,
running. Like the
hmm.
NGB notice has not even been released yet. So, there's nobody's officially running yet, but the rumor is there are a number of candidates running this year.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, some of them have already unofficially agreed to be on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
But I want to open the floor because I'm sure there's people running that I don't know about yet. But I want to, nobody has to be on here, obviously. Will this help or hurt your case? I don't know. Nobody listens, so probably not either way. But I
Good
wanted to,
practice.
yeah, good practice. So
There you go.
open invitation. You can reach out. So if you are running and you're interested in being on the podcast, you can email us at plballadspodcast@gmail.com and we can set up a time. And these will be kind of like, so here's the other thing. We're going to probably sit on all these episodes until the final list of candidates is actually released and then release them all at the same time. So we're not going to just release them, like if somebody did an interview today, we're not going to release it next week when they haven't even submitted names yet. So we're going to sit on all of them until the official candidates are out and then release those kind of all at the same time. So people can listen to what each candidate has to say. And I think that's a big issue sometimes with like the NGB, like everybody gets to speak, but you only have so much time at the NGB. And if we have this many candidates, like, there's a time limit. So you can't necessarily answer all the questions. Like, and I'm going to come up with some hard questions. Like, I'm not going easy on anybody because, prove to me that you'll be a good president, basically.
Nice. Okay.
So everybody's like, I'm not doing
Can we
that.
do like a presidential debate?
So I thought about that too. The challenge would be, I actually would love to do that. The challenge is going to be getting everybody together at the same time. But if we can make it happen, absolutely, I would love to do that.
Yeah.
You and I can be the moderators.
Okay.
Anyway, we can look forward to that in the next coming months as we lead up to the NGB.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Are you ready for the powerlifting situation? Boom, boom,
I'm ready.
boom.
Let's do it.
So you're competing at nationals, currently in second place. You're the last deadlifter of the flight. You did an easy 177.5 kilos on your second attempt. The American record is 188. You need 190 to win. What do you put on for your third attempt and why?
This is actually meant to be a no-brainer for me. 190. You put on the minimum you need to win and call it a day. That still exceeds the American record. So if you get it, great. We posted this a couple weeks ago on the Team Rohr Instagram. A lot of people said 188.5, just chip the record and be happy with second, which records are going to get broken over time. Like titles are forever. So this is a national title. Like those are valuable. You put on what you need to win, I think, every time. Few people actually said 190.5, and there's merit to that. Reason being is like usually when you have a chip, like you want to use it, not that you need it in this case because you're pulling last, so you already know what you need to win. But having the record set at 190.5 just makes it a little bit more challenging for people to break in the future. Somebody might need to go slightly over or slightly below that to win. So it just makes it more of an odd number to break. So it might make that record hold up a little bit more. But I disagree with doing 190.5 because you want to do the least amount possible to win. It's still breaking the record, like just because you don't have the chip, so what? But some people like get caught up in the chip and they really want that chip, to make the record hopefully last a little bit longer. I don't think that's smart. That doesn't make sense.
I agree.
So that's what I would do. I'd go to the 190 and call it good.
Agree.
Cool. All right. That's all I got. Wow me with something interesting.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah.
Wowing you right now with something interesting?
Right now.
Yeah. My life is not very interesting right now. Oh, okay. So we were going to update on the broken leg situation, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that already.
So I know, right? I broke my leg. So I broke my leg down by the ankle. I broke a bone in my foot. I broke some bones up near my knee, and I tore my ACL.
Oh man.
Yeah, and my MCL partially. But it was interesting because they're like, yeah, all your bones are pretty stable. They're not healed yet or anything, but you have a boot, walk. I was like, what? Really? So yeah, he was like, yeah, wean yourself off the crutches and get your knee moving again because you want to get it back to full mobility before the ACL surgery. And yeah, so I have a assault bike that I'm able to get my knee around the entire spin, right? And I'm back walking in a boot now, no crutches.
Nice.
So
awesome.
That's
my
good. Interesting bit.
It is.
The other interesting bit would be, this will be my third ACL surgery. 2 on the left, 1 on the right. This would be the first one on the right.
Well, but one more on the right and you'll be balanced again.
Yeah, exactly. But
I shouldn't have said
every
that.
time,
knock on wood. That's not,
yeah, right.
That's not cool.
Every time, it seems like the technology and the way that they do this surgery is better and better. So I'll update you and see if this last one's better. But and an hour or so before this crash where I messed up my leg, I broke my finger.
Wait, say that again.
An hour before the crash where I messed up my leg, I broke my finger.
Oh yeah, because you caught it on the tree or something, right?
Yeah, I fell off and twisted it back and happened to mention it when I was at the doctor. I'm like, yeah, this hurts too. And he's like, well, let's get an x-ray of that too. He's like, yep, you broke that too.
Jeez.
Like, wow. Never broke a bone before. Went from 0 to 6 different places.
Hey. Go big or go home.
Exactly.
Or go home broken.
Yeah. But can still work out. It's just
that's good.
A little different.
Crazy. Well, that is an interesting update. I forgot about that. I wasn't expecting that direction, but we'll take it. It was interesting. Congratulations that you're able to walk again.
Yes. Yeah. Crutches suck. Could be worse.
Could be worse. Cool. All right. That's all I have. How about you?
That's enough for me.
That's enough. All right. Well, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at PL Ballads Podcast. And if you are planning on running for USA Powerlifting President and want to be on the podcast, shoot us an email at plballadspodcast@gmail.com. Look forward to grilling you with some questions.
All right. Till next week, Josh. Bye now.
Later.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.